mlango wa mkulima kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya. Kuwa mkono ambao
well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Farm Kenya show. It is a beautiful Tuesday, and being a Tuesday, of course, one of the things that we do right here is to make sure that you're properly equipped with what is going on in the world of agriculture. And today, knowing this statistic that it has become sort of a constant on this show, we understand that the smallholder farmer is the one who feeds majority of Kenyans. Question is, how are they being supported? We are in the digital space, in the digital age. Are we utilizing these tools of this season to empower our farmers to be able to grow their output, at the same time make agriculture efficient, and lastly, make it attractive for investment? That is our conversation today, talking about well-balanced, sustainable, and climate-resilient agriculture. We'll have a very good conversation right here in studio with one of the experts from Mexico, and he's Emmanuel. He insisted I call him Manu, but we stick now with God with us. Emmanuel Macau is here with us. Actually, he's a techie on the background. So when you talk about matters to do with inculcating and utilizing technology in the world of agriculture, and how sometimes technological investment is a little bit, how can it trickle down to our smallholder farmers? That is our conversation today, and we will have a good time. At the same time, we have our very own crew at the ASK International Fair Show, and this is where all farmers are meeting this week. Remember, it's going all the way to the 29th, and innovation, technology is being showcased in that space, and the theme of this particular show, of course, is matters to do with climate-friendly approach to agriculture. So we'll be getting some reportage from down there at the SK show, just to be told how exactly what is going on and what are the farmers learning. But remember, our conversation touches on actually, climate-resilient agriculture and touching especially the smallholder farmers. My name is Nokip Kumboy, and the show has begun. I asked the producer to have a bell here so that when I begin the show, I just hit the bell and then we begin. So imaginary bell goes, and right now I'd like us to go straight to the SK show. Our reporter Sophia Ali is down there. Good afternoon, Sophia. What exactly is going down there at the SK show, if I may ask?
Yesterday it started out all gloomy, but today we are seeing a little bit of sun, and we are very grateful for, we are looking at some of the things that are being featured here today, and most of the stands obviously being that it's an ASK, it's an agricultural show. We are looking at agriculture, and if you look at it, agriculture contributes about 33% to the GDP of this country, employing over 40,000 of this population, 40,000 percentage of the population of this country. And today we are here at a JQAT stand, whereby in this year's theme of the ASK show, we are looking at the innovation being the major part of it. And I am being joined by Mbugwa. Mbugwa is a community outreach at JQAT, and he wants to talk to us and walk us through some of the innovations that they have seen throughout the years, and also this year, what's new. Mbugwa, how are you?
Very fine, and thank you, and welcome to JKUAT.
Yes.
We are here at the Nairobi show, where the university is trying to showcase a number of technologies, and especially in response to the theme of this year, which is promoting climate-smart and trade initiatives for sustainable economic growth. So that's why we have a whole host of innovations that the university has developed through research and invention, and we are showcasing that to the public through our outreach program. Thank you.
Okay, so we are standing here. Perhaps before we continue, we see another executive member of the committee. Perhaps you can introduce yourself and maybe talk to us a little bit about this year's innovation and some of the things that you're undertaking as JQAT.
Thank you very much. My name is Professor Jonge, Francis Jonge. I'm the co-chair of the show committee of JQuat. And here we have come to show what the university is doing, and especially in terms of innovation, in terms of smart agriculture for sustainable development. And we have a whole host of activities we are showing, a lot of products which we have developed. And we have also added value to a lot of host of commodities we have. Like, for example, the dragon fruit. The dragon fruit is now becoming one of the most expensive fruit. And we have even gone a step further to actually add value and develop other products from it. And therefore, we are saying, even in those drier areas, this is a plant which can actually do well. And then not just doing well in terms of the fruit, but also doing some value addition, which we have done and we are demonstrating in the show. And we would like Kenyans to take this, so that we can actually develop in those areas where maybe other crops cannot do. But this is a good plant which we are showing. We have also another whole host of value-added products. We have snails, of course, which we have another whole host of products which are derived from the snails. We also have cricket and cricket products, like the cookies. And we are inviting the showgoers to come and even have a taste of some of these products we are having. Thank you.
Well, some of the things that I have walked through the stand, and I have seen crickets. All my life, I fear crickets, and the only thing I know about crickets is the noise that it makes. It makes at night when I want to sleep, and if the crickets are there, you cannot get much of a sleep. And also, I have seen snails, and I have seen coconut husks. Obviously, these are some of the things that we ignore as Kenyans and see them as being a valueless product. In fact, when I see a cricket, the only thing I think is, where's my slipper so that I can kill it? But, well, there is a purpose in everything that we do in life. And let's talk about this innovation a little bit, and maybe some other innovations that you have walked me through, including making of laptops. We know we do a lot of importation of some of these gadgets from, out of this country. And perhaps what is the importance of innovation, especially to us as Kenyans and also the upcoming generation, being that you are a university institutions?
Thank you so much. Innovation is a driver to economic and industrial development. So we can't do without innovation. That means improvement. We want to do things better. We want to compete globally. We want to improve our products. And therefore, we have to innovate and make life easier, make agriculture more effective, improve productivity, improve efficiency, reduce costs, come up with better products and services, and do the things that we do always in a better and easier manner. So, for example, this tractor you see here, it is formulated, it has been fabricated with a partnership in Jomo Kenyatta, and it's able to do multiple functions. It can, for example, open up roads in your farm, and even in the rural areas. It can also do all the other functions of a tractor, hitching, all the spraying, plowing, etc. So that is, and we have many other equipment around here with us, which help. You have even seen others 3D printing.
Yes, I've seen.
Where we are, using recycled plastic to come up with products right on the way you print something out. And you have seen some of the products we print. Yes, so innovation is critical. If you want to improve livelihoods, if you want to improve efficiency, you want to earn more productivity, more income, better lives, innovation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Grace, as you see, there is a lot to be carried out. I mean, there is a lot for us to bring for you today. And we hope by the end of the day, we will have compiled for you everything that you need to know in terms of innovation. Thank you so much, Grace. Back to you.
Okay. The grace of the Lord is sufficient. That's all I can say for now. But if you get it twisted, I'm no. It's a beautiful world. We were chatting here, and Emmanuel, we were saying, it can go south or north, and here we are. But thank you very much, Emmanuel Macau. He's the Senior Regional Technology and Data Manager at Masico. And he's a tech who is very passionate about agriculture. And at Masico, you guys are doing some amazing stuff. We'll go into that. I don't know, did you go up around Nairobi? Because in major towns, we used to have these SK shows, these agricultural shows.
Yeah.
At one point, did you ever stumble into one, or this was a rarity?
I've been to the SK show in Nairobi several times. I think also from my early days in primary school, I was in Tala Township. We used to go at least every year. So I went 3 times in buses. So much fun. Those days we used to use the Nyayo bus service. That was so much fun. And then I went to school in Machakos, and I also, had an opportunity to go to that one at least 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
I don't know whether some of my teachers are listening, but they can't do anything right now. We used to sneak into the disco where we're not supposed to go to, but that was so much fun.
Yeah.
But one of the shows that I went to, I remember I saw a rat that had come from a shamba in Makueni. In Kamba, we call them walili. It's a big rat. So usually the one I've seen is like this small. But this was like this big. It was even making some funny sounds. Huge rat. And I was like, if nature can make things like this, I'm wondering what produce came out of that farm. Because if that is the size of the rat, then I'm sure the maize was even bigger.
Yes.
So I hope the farmer got abundant harvest.
It's interesting because even why I'm tapping into that memory is the status of farming in Kenya. First of all, when you see techies like you come into the agriculture space and you utilize the tools that you have, it is such an encouragement. But still, one of those olden days statistics still stands, that the average age of a farmer in Kenya is close to 60, 65 years.
60, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Which is quite elderly. And majority of this country, our median age is close to 19, 20.
Yeah.
Why is agriculture not cool for the young people?
I think they don't see the value that comes from agriculture. I think also the way, and probably maybe I can use myself as an example. When we used to go to the farm, those days, when we closed school, we used to labor a lot, sometimes during harvesting period, harvest the produce, and you have to remove all the seeds, like harvesting the maize. So there was some pain that was also associated with it. I remember my grandmother telling me, if you don't remove enough, you're not eating. So, there's that thing in your head that, why am I always doing this thing every other time? So one, I don't think the youth are seeing the benefit out of it, and they're seeing it's something that our parents used to do. But right now, when you look at farming, there are so many opportunities and so many places where you can actually make an income. For example, there was an extension agent who met in Kiambu. He does artificial insemination. He's a vet. But beyond that, he also realized that he can, there are other needs that the farmers wanted. So, seeds, they needed inputs for specific things. They needed advice, agronomy advice, not just for the dairy cows, but also for different kinds of crops that they were having. So he tapped into that. But what he also did was learned a bit more about crop management. He ended up going to school again and came back to the society and actually started, doing extension services. And he's making an income out of that. The number of farmers he's serving in his community, think of him as a thought, like a thought leader, as an expert in extension services. And so he's making an income out of that. So that's one aspect of agriculture. But it doesn't really mean you have to go and touch the soil.
Exactly.
There's another one who, actually we met in Nakuru some time ago, and he was buying onions from different farms. That's still being part of the agriculture ecosystem. And he was buying onions in bulk and taking them to markets. And he had these vendors who were willing to buy from him. So he was able to aggregate onions from different farms around in Nakuru and take them to the market. And now also, he ended up now supplying to people who know him, so homesteads. And within a short time, he was making some money, and he bought a pickup, and now he's supplying. I think the time when we met him, he was still in university. Right now, obviously, he's flourishing, supplying different types of foodstuffs. So the way we look at agriculture needs to change, even for the youth, and look at agriculture as a way of earning an income. It doesn't have to mean that you have to touch the soil, like I said, but what other avenues are there for you to make money? I know there's an organization that is training young entrepreneurs, they're called agripreneurs, to look at farming, different farming components like soil testing, visiting a farmer, giving them advisory, linking them to markets, and then collecting some data from the farmers to be able to get some analytics of the different types of transactions that we're doing. So if it's buying inputs, they'll buy the inputs through the agripreneurs. The agripreneurs will visit them on a regular basis. That visit is a source of income. If they recommend a soil testing company, the soil testing company will give them some commission for every soil test that is made. The benefit is to the farmer eventually, because the farmer will come to know that my soil is red soil, black cotton soil, sandy loam, but I'm missing some nutrients, I'm missing some things. And because of that, I should be able to put either a certain input that will now make my produce much better.
Okay.
So you find that these young people now have different ways of making money. And that's the agripreneur model that I'm talking about.
Definitely. So you really have to look this from a value chain perspective.
Exactly.
Most of the time there is a huge focus at the production level. But there's a whole transition. Talk about, even just logistics is a huge business in of itself.
Yeah.
But going back to the production, because that's the foundation, where the country is right now is that we are a net importer,
Yes.
Essentially, we import a lot of things, food included, okay? And looking at the potential within the country to be able to produce food, it seems we have not tapped into that.
Yeah.
And one of the areas that we see is if we are able to empower the smallholder farmer, then there is an opportunity to transform our food ecosystem in one way or another. Correct. Because that's where a majority of the foods that Kenyans eat actually do come from. So let's start with the smallholder farmer in this country. From your observation and you working at the Mercy Corps, because you're pushing solutions that go towards these farmers. For smallholder farmers, first of all, who's a smallholder farmer? Maybe we can start there.
So for us, the definition of smallholder farmer is a farmer who at least has between 1 and 5 acres, maximum at least to 5 acres. But it varies in different countries. But in Kenya, I think the way we look at it is between 1 and 5 acres. And for us, agriculture is mainly subsistence. We have, over 80% of the country relying on agriculture. So, and most of the agriculture is through subsistence or, local-based farming. So that's where we actually get now to the definition of a smallholder farmer for ourselves. At least a farmer also who earns, on a minimum $2.50 a day because of the output that they get. But that's not enough, it's not sufficient. So yes, they have small pieces of land, but you find smallholder farmers are also very multi-value chain. They plant or grow or keep multiple livestock and different kinds of plants. And the reason is for them to actually be able to have a way to earn an income on a regular basis. So if you're planting cabbages, you want to plant cabbages, but there's also a dairy cow there that is also going to provide for the household as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that regard, for these farmers to be able to optimally produce, there seems to be barriers to that. Right now as it is.
Yes.
Of course, one of the issues that we've seen, from my perspective, which is very biased, being in the communication field, is there is a huge gap when it comes to information.
Yes.
So farmers and actual experts, you know, we are working in silos, and eventually nothing moves. From your perspective, what are some of the biggest challenges that these smallholders farmers face that is hindering them to optimally function as smallholder farmers?
You've mentioned one of them, which is access to information. So in the olden days, farmers used to talk to each other, and they still do the same thing. But the old ways of producing have changed. Seeds have also evolved over time. So like, for example, if you do potato farming, potatoes can only last a period of time. Let's look at it like maybe, let me make it a bit more scientific, like an atom. And a hydrogen atom has a half-life, if you're making a bomb or something of that sort. So over time, it dissipates. So it's like that. So a potato, over time, the potato that you grew, over time, it starts reducing in terms of the, I don't know whether to call it efficacy, or it just stops producing. It becomes old. And as it ages, the production reduces. Yeah? And so we need to be able to provide information to farmers about different kinds of seeds, improved seeds for their climate. Like right now, I think there's the new a seed, maize seed that is called Duma 44 that will last 3 months, as opposed to the old one that used to last 8 to, I think, 9 months. Then there's also access to weather information or climatic information for smart agriculture, especially. With the changing weather, with the changing climate, a while back, the farmers could tell. They just look at the clouds and they say, today it's going to rain, or it's going to rain the next 2 weeks, and for sure it will rain. But now we're not sure. The weather has changed, the climate has changed so much. And so we should be able to provide adequate information for advisory on when it's actually going to rain, when the farmer should put the seed in the ground, and then follow that with the advisory on what to do during the cropping cycle. So that's one of the issues that we are trying to address as well. Access to finance is a big one. It's also a very big barrier also for women actually to access even finance. Looking at another barrier that would speak into this, which is access to land, especially for women. And we see primarily that men are the owners of the land. And it was interesting to read somewhere that out of all the land ownership, around 1%, between 1 and 4% land is actually owned by women. So you find that even now those women cannot directly go and access financing to buy inputs, implements, fertilizer, and they have to rely. I'm not saying it's bad for them to rely on their husbands and all that, but it's still a barrier. Again, also the same barrier of access to finance would be banks don't have access. They don't know anything about the farmers, so they see farmers as smallholder farmers as very risky. They ask for collateral. Some of these farmers cannot afford even that collateral. So I remember there's a farmer down in Bomet who said, "You want me to take a loan, and then later on the bank will come and get my cow." You see, so there's also that fear of things that have happened, or fears of things that might happen when they take up these financial solutions. Access to finance is also limited by historical data that banks don't have. They don't know anything. They don't have any transactional information. But yet, in the small chamas, there are those small transactions that happen. So they know how to transact and how the money flows, but that is not seen anywhere from a bank perspective. So they will always see them as there's no ability to pay. I think one other one is, like I've mentioned, climate. Climate is a big issue right now. It's a barrier that is affecting all of us. Change of weather patterns. It's now very difficult to predict. And some solutions like advisory, smart advisory, can go a long way to advising farmers on what to do.
Definitely.
And then implementing smart agriculture technology. I think I've just seen from the SK show that it's about climate smart agriculture.
Yeah.
Using implements even for plowing, like tractor implements. Instead of using disc plows, you use maybe another implement that will prevent the soil from being overturned, and that causes carbon sequestration, which will mean now loss of nutrients at some point. So the less you disturb the soil, the more you more you have nutrients in the soil. So using different farming implements and also using different types of fertilizer that also encourage macro organisms to thrive and to make farming much better and also increase output.
All right.
Yeah, correct.
Wow, lots of barriers right there.
Yeah.
A whole raft of it. Yeah?
There's a lot more.
I know,
can keep on going.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. So what we're going to do, we want to take a short break.
Yeah.
When we come back, one of the goals of Farm Kenya Show is to be a solution-oriented show.
Yeah.
So as much as we have the barriers, we look at the barriers and we ask ourselves, how can we go through this barrier? So we take a break. When we come back, it's about conquering and some of the avenues that we can use to beat these barriers, including technology being at the core of some of these solutions. But for now, Farm Kenya takes a short break. We come back later.
Unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kukulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
StarTime's home solar solution with solar panels, hybrid inverter, and lithium battery, empowering you to do the things that really matter. A complete and reliable home solar solution. Call us today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
Get the football you want and get it all on DSTV. DSTV delivers every heart-pounding moment, every jaw-dropping play, and every unforgettable goal. Experience the passion. Feel the intensity. Football isn't just a game. It's your life. Welcome to iVibe Africa, your best African entertainment platform. Discover exclusive content on African culture, motoring, sports, and reality shows made by Africans for Africa. Stream to iVibe Africa wherever you are. Whether you're at home or on the go, we've got something for you. Download iVibe Africa now on Google App Store or Play Store to ensure you never miss out on this captivating and amazing entertainment.
This is a hotspot show. Ready? Cheers. Rolling.
The bridge has been here for 30 years now.
This one is going to be amazing. This is a happy dancer.
You can have a glimpse view of Nairobi.
Every Saturday, 7:30 p.m. here on KTN Home with me, Eustace Segete. Let's join in to explore and tour the world together.
Tembea Kenya and embark on a journey of discovery. And the best part? You don't have to travel far. Discover the beauty of your own country and connect with your roots, culture, and community. Tembea Kenya by Kenya Tourism Board, where adventures await.
StarTime's home solar solution with solar panels, hybrid inverter, and lithium battery, empowering you to do the things that really matter. A complete and reliable home solar solution. Call us today. StarTime Solar. Power your life.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa mkulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Alrighty, welcome back to the Farm Kenya show, and we're discussing matters to do with climate resilient food systems. And when you talk about food systems, you can't talk about food systems actually without talking about the smallholder farm in the country, and that's why we're focusing on that. In studio we have Emmanuel Macau, the Senior Regional Technology and Data Manager at Masico. And Emmanuel, but even before we proceed to the solutions, how does a techie find himself in agriculture? You know, you're doing things for telecommunications. Now all of a sudden you are a farmer. How was that? What happened?
It's actually a very interesting story. So I went to work for Airtel Africa. There was a project that we had applied for a grant through GSMA to develop a farmer solution. And that was actually where my journey started, using technology, mobile-based at that time, to provide digital solutions to farmers. At that time, I don't think we were even calling them smallholder farmers, just farmers. Mm-hmm. And so we got this grant and did a very interesting solution. Then Airtel Kenya took it over, and then from there I found myself transitioning to Masico. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing that ever since. Surprisingly, it's not just about using mobile technology. It's about everything else. Mm-hmm. It's using different types of technologies to come up with solutions that smallholder farmers can use or can give drive impact, to drive change in different aspects. Right now, I think the biggest word here now is AI. We're talking about AI in agriculture. Yes. We have that as a session actually in our annual learning event that is coming up actually in October, 15th and 16th. And we'll be talking about AI being the lead in localizing agriculture. Okay. And coming up with insights from several solutions where it will help us address smart climate, provide smart climate solutions, maybe look at robotics, things like spraying, what time to spray, when to plant, predict weather. An AI engine is able to look at different data sets and process a lot of data. We have a product also called Sprout, which is an open content platform, and we are thinking of embedding AI as a way of looking at responses, queries from farmers, and generating responses to those farmers on the best practices to use. there are going to be a couple of other sessions on digital public infrastructure and how the government and other public and private organizations can use digital public infrastructure to enable solutions in agriculture.
Okay.
So the event is definitely about enabling rural ecosystems.
Yes.
And it's going to be on the 15th and 16th of October down at the Marriott.
Okay.
It's a 2-day event. So I welcome you to come down. Yeah.
We'll try fly a drone around the Marriott and spray their flowers. You know, that is utilization of tech, you know, in agriculture. But even talking about that, because when you talk about technology and smallholder farmers, it's in many layers, many fronts, as you say. And at Masiko, you do a very good job of looking at these solutions and finding ways how collectively we can work together to solve the challenges of these smallholder farmers. Bring to our attention some of the the pinpoints that technology can come in very handy for the challenges that we earlier mentioned of these smallholder farmers, and how tech could be utilized and sort of specialized and, you know, made for that smallholder farmer.
So in the olden days, let me start from the way we used to do, you know, product development. It was very focused on what we think, or what I as a product manager or a product developer would think a customer would want. And from there, we develop a solution and launch it and do all these campaigns and make sure that the users are able to use it or, you know, take up the product. But now when you're designing solutions for farmers, you have to have them in mind. You have to think about what do they do, how do they live, when they wake up, what happens, and it's different for men and women. Men probably wake up, you know, walk around the farm, and probably just go sit down, read the newspaper, and at some point, you know, do something else and go to work. But the woman would probably wake up, milk, take care of the kids, make sure the kids have gone to school, take care of the husband has gone to work, and then maybe at some point go to the farm. So even when you decide you're going to message these two different genders, you have to think about when is the best time to message them. So as we're developing products, we have to think about the farmer in mind. Some of the solutions that are out there, and we've supported around, you know, scaling up solutions on insurance, for example. Two organizations that are doing that very well across the region, Ethiopia, even Nigeria now, Eka and Pula. They've come up with this, the digital insurance, which looks at soil, you know, weather-based index insurance that is able to cover the farmer, and it's digital. So the farmer will, you know, use a mobile device to be able to access it, and if there's an eventuality, they're able to place the claim, and then the claim is met. So insurance is key in safeguarding the farmer, the produce, and also not just making sure that they're not out of pocket when a disaster happens. Okay. You know, in case they've also taken a loan, you know, now they'll be set back maybe twice because they have to pay the loan and they have also made a loss. Okay. So that insurance will also come and cover, some of those insurance come and cover such solutions, such issues. You know, digitizing cooperatives, I think a while back, even the way we used to, the country used to aggregate things like tea, coffee, and it's still going on.
Yes.
By digitizing some of the cooperatives that are dealing with different value chains, and also even putting some of these value chains in organized groups or organized organizations, or farmer-based organizations, and then you digitize those, yeah? I remember seeing a cooperative in Elbagon that was digitized. They started with 15 members, and then right now they have over, I think, 200 members. They collect milk. and everything of theirs is digitized. So when they were doing this, everything was paper-based, and they were losing track of payments, they were losing track on so many things. And later on, when their systems were all put in a digital tool, they were able to see how much milk is being collected, what kind of quality they are collecting, and then what do we owe this farmer. And as they are collecting all this information, they were also now building history, and they were also now coming up with different other solutions. Like now they have an input store at the side, where they are actually able to tell, a farmer is able to come and pick inputs and offset from from what the milk they've brought in. So you've now digitized that process. You've brought in efficiencies, you brought in transparency, and then there's a process to be followed. Okay. So the farmer doesn't really have to go even to the farm, to the milk processor, to take the milk. And the guy will come collect the milk, have it written, write it down on their, have it put in on their phone, and when the milk is delivered, the farmer gets the message: your milk has been accepted, and this is how many liters, and we owe you X amount. So everything there's a track.
Yes. So digitization, insurance.
Insurance.
Yes.
I've seen mechanization.
Yes.
Where tractor hailing is now the the Uber of agriculture, and having a farmer being able to call for a tractor, book for a tractor, and then the agent would come actually as the tractor has been booked to do different kinds of things. The agent can also be passing on good agricultural practices. And this point also, you find that there's the smart agriculture kind of plows that are going to be used. So the farmer is educated about those plows. So they tend to see now this being a digital solution that is able to give them content, advisory content. They are also able to see how the tractor is doing. They are also able to protect the soil and learn in the process of using this service from a digital perspective.
All right.
The last one.
Even before you go to the last one, just to interject, tractor heli, it reminds me back then we used to have ngombe heli in the village. There's somebody who used to have bulls.
Yes,
yeah? And in the tilling season, they were in business.
Yes.
The two bulls are called across the village to do something. And that's just digitized. Some of these solutions, you look at the ground and what can you bring to bring that efficiency. I'm really glad there is that option also.
Yes. The last one is actually looking at how to use data to come up with insights, to provide different types of solutions to farmers. Of course, financial institutions would benefit a lot from this, to be able to see what kind of transactions they can get, and it can be alternative data. It doesn't have to be real transaction data, because probably they don't have that, but they would use other alternative information or data from maybe a satellite, or maybe even value chain, what kind of value chain the farmer is in, how many value chains they are in actually, because I said some of the farmers are multi-value chain.
Yes.
What they can think about the average output that the farmer would make from the different value chains, and be able to come up with a way to credit score this farmer and give them a loan, because they now know that the farmer has an ability to pay, and this is what they are going to be able to pay based on what the analysis that they've done from the alternative data. I think, the solutions are so many.
I know. It's quite interesting that, I'm glad you brought out insurance, and this touches, because also part of our discussion, the most affected farmer when it comes to the challenges that the world is going through right now, this climate change issue, is the smallholder farmer.
Yes.
And I'm glad you've brought out the insurance aspect in terms of shielding these farmers. Now, I know there are several products that industry players are developing and are looking at these opportunities to take advantage of that. Still, in many aspects, it's almost, as you've said, in financing. Farming, there's no proper, tracking of cash flow and records and all that.
Yeah.
So, financing the sector becomes a little bit difficult for the smallholder farmers, deemed riskier.
Yeah.
In terms of other auxiliary sectors that the smallholder farmer and the agricultural sector needs to grow.
Yeah.
Do you feel they're trying to catch up as soon, or we need to put more effort in this regard?
When it comes to insurance, it's even for us who have life insurance, personal insurance, we are also skeptical about taking it, and it's because of lack of education or lack of information. You probably see an insurance policy and it has terms and conditions, fine print, very small, and you can't read this, and then if you read, you don't understand most of what is written there.
Yes.
It's the same thing also for agriculture. So awareness of insurance and demystifying what that agricultural insurance is about. The two organizations I've mentioned are very good at it. They do farmer training, educate the farmers. They try to break it down to a level where they would understand why should I take insurance. I remember there was a game actually we were playing in the office about that was looking at different aspects of different people's lives. So you're given a couple of cards, and each one of these cards has different components or elements. It's got a lot of things in it. But as we were going around, I was actually losing. But as I was losing, I got a card that told me that you have an insurance cover that will cover you for X amount of money. When I cashed in the insurance, everything I'd lost, I recovered. And so that started, showing the importance of having insurance. Yes. It's there to help you mitigate against risks, unforeseen risks that may happen. That's why we have car insurance. When you have an accident, you don't want to start dealing with fixing your car and fixing other things. It's to also protect the farmer from the unseen circumstances that might happen, disasters. This year we had a lot of rain. We probably lost a lot of crops as well. So what happens to that farmer's seed that he sowed and he spent so much money for it? The inputs, the work, the money. So who pays for that? How will the farmer recover? If they've taken a loan, like I mentioned, how will they recover also as well from that? So the insurance comes in as a way of protecting the farmer, but a lot of information needs to go there, a lot of education, training. These are some of the things we also support our partners with, just so that they can extend and scale this awareness to the farmers.
Definitely. And as we come to the tail end of this conversation, Emmanuel, there is the expected impact, and this can be sort of an incentive to be part of the journey, be part of the change. For the farmers that you've interacted with and solution providers, talk to me about just the interventions that you've seen rolled out, How much is it, you talked about, I'm reminded of the size of the rat, it was like this.
It was huge.
And then there was this, it was almost triple. In regards to, if we make these interventions intentional and channel it to our small farmers, make sure they're properly informed. Bottom line, what does it mean to food production, food security of the country, but even more importantly, those farmers' livelihoods?
It means that we are able to make a change. And some of the solutions I've just talked about, for example, even the innovators who are developing some of these solutions want to inform their farmers about different aspects of farming. But getting agronomic content in a certain format that is actionable is difficult. It also costs something. And it's difficult also for these innovators to be able to do that. And so when you start impacting or you start changing the way content is available, advisory content is available, farmers are now able to get good agronomic content, which also now they're able to action and start making an income out of it. We talked about the youth being involved in agriculture. The youth being involved in agriculture earns them money. They look at it as a business and not just as something that their parents used to do. And also when we start using these different digital tools, we start, feeding our nation in one way or another, because it's now about resilience, it's about impact, it's about providing access to food. And that's probably the way that I see us guys, or us using digital technologies to empower our farmers to become better farmers, to produce more for this country, and then also to, mitigate some of the issues that we might be facing, of course, because of climate change, and also in light of things like pests and diseases. I think we were having a side conversation there about the locust pandemic. Yes. We probably don't know the full scale of how it really affected farming at that time, but because of having some digital tools, there was e-extension, and farmers were able to get information about how to track locusts and what to do with them when they find them. And then they would report that. It was called citizen reporting, which was being done by FAO and Plantwise Village, I think that's what they were called. And then the farmers were now able to be told, when you see a locust, if it's this size, this color, do this, do that, spray, all that. So we're still, in an early stage of using technology to do all this, provide farmers with all these solutions. Okay. To address climate change, of course, to address access to inputs, access to financing. But there's hope that we can actually be able to bring an impact and change our farmers' lives.
Definitely. And as we close up, we've realized that at the end of the day, the laws of the land plays a huge role. So sometimes you might be very excited about a particular product.
Yes.
Then you realize, the law says you're supposed to have a degree to fly a drone. You're wondering, how do I approach this? Now, in terms of policy, supporting these interventions to better, in less than a minute, do you think there is enough support from that side? And if not, what needs to be done?
So, for policy perspective, I think, as AgriFin, we really don't get into the policy part as much. But we try as much as possible to address, to advise some of the partners that we're working with, especially now things like data policies, for example. We have the Kenya Data Commission, which is responsible to make sure that citizens' data, which includes farmer data, is taken care of. But we advise our partners, and we also talk to them and tell them that when you're collecting data, these are the rules, these are the regulations. Let's follow. Let's try and conform, and do the right thing. So in terms of policy, we try and see how do we support our partners to make sure that they are in conformity with those rules and policies.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Muhimu sana. And I love, that answer sounds
Political?
so politically correct. Yeah. But it's the right answer.
Yeah.
We don't get much into policy, but we advise them, which is also very critical. There is a role and responsibility, and for each and every, you can do everything.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you guys are pushing innovations and interventions to better smallholder farmers, because when we better them, the country, depending on agricultural ecosystem, that means that even the household revenue generating capability is higher. At the same time, the quality of products is higher, so we are eating healthy as a country.
Correct.
It has this sort of all-round effect.
Correct.
As a nation, if we just target these solutions to the right places. But thank you very much, Emmanuel Macau.
Okay. Thank you.
All the way from Mexico. Griffin. We really appreciate your time here. Emmanuel Macau is the Senior Regional Technology and Data Manager, Mexico Griffin, and also the same gentleman who said that they used to do funny things at SK shows.
Forget that one.
Forgotten that one. Yeah, but very, very interesting conversation. And he says that technology actually is here with us. Artificial intelligence is here with us. We need to have a conversation on how to utilize it for the betterment of every system, including our food systems. That's why this conversation has started, and it's not the last one. We need to build on it as time goes by. But in the interest of time, we have to put a full stop to today's show. Thank you very much for joining with us over the past hour. My name is Noah Kipkimboy. That's been Farm Kenya today. We haven't cooked. Chef Ron is away, so we are finishing.